Hello, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to do a little reading vlog of some books that people aren't loving. And I'm seeing a lot of these new releases coming out of these big name authors, and people, the reviews that I'm watching are all saying they're not great. They're not the best by these authors. And a lot of the complaints I'm seeing, though, are that they're too women's fiction-y. Not enough romance, too women's fiction-y. These are romance authors doing not enough romance. And so for me, I'm like, I love that. I love women's fiction. I would much prefer that over romance. So am I going to love these books? So the books that I'm going to read in this vlog are The Love Haters by Katherine Center. And so this one is about a girl who I think she is struggling with body image issues and all of that. And I've heard that gets a little overkill. We'll see. But she is asked to go do this job profiling like a Coast Guard guy. She can't swim. She says yes anyway, and hijinks ensue. So there's that. And if this takes a women's fiction turn, I'm okay with that. And then Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Now, my past with Emily Henry is hit and miss. I loved People We Meet on Vacation, and the rest of them are all like 3.5 stars for me. So I'm not like a diehard Emily Henry fangirl in the way that I kind of am about Katherine Center. And then last is going to be Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and I am an Abby Jimenez fangirl. I have not read some of her earlier works because the one about infertility kind of scared me off, and she does put a little bit of steam in her books, and so I kind of wrote her off mentally. And then I remember I read the Part of Your World series, and some of the Part of Your World is my least favorite of the series, but I loved the series. And so now if this one's too women's fiction-y, too heavy, not enough romance, maybe I'll still love it because I have really enjoyed everything that I've read from her. So come along with me. Like I said, I'm seeing not great reviews of these, but I am just watching. It's just from the people that I watch. I don't watch everybody on booktube. It's impossible. But so from my corner of the internet, the reviews on these don't seem great. So I'm going to test it today and see, well, not today, over the next duration, and see, do I agree? Are these books worth the hype, or are they great authors doing subpar work? Let's see. Hey everyone, so I actually just snuck outside after my workout, so I'm like sweaty and gross, and my kids are eating breakfast, and I snuck out here to have a minute because I want to talk about this book. So I am reading The Love Haters first, and so this book is about a girl who gets a job going to do a profile on a Coast Guard guy, and he is known as the Love Hater. He is the brother to her co-worker kind of, and so she goes, and she knows nothing about the Coast Guard. She knows nothing. She can't swim. She knows absolutely nothing. So she goes kind of under false pretenses, saying yeah, I can do this, let's go. And so she goes, and she's having to figure stuff out real quick, and he is kind of a grump, and she's staying with their aunt, and she is the sweetest lady, just the sweetest big personality lady. Okay, so cute premise. Now, I think I've heard that people are annoyed by our main character, and I can definitely see that. So she has a lot of body image issues. She was formerly engaged to a famous singer, and just has a lot of body image issues. Somewhat from, being kind of in the spotlight as his girlfriend, and somewhat from her awful stepmom. And she just got a lot of body image issues. And we hear about that a lot. And her best friend is great. Her best friend, I guess, was really helpful in her recovery of an eating disorder. And now her best friend, even now, she's like, tell me something you love about yourself, about your body. And she's really trying to coach her to be healthier. And she is healthier now than she was. But a lot of that stuff is resurfacing because her old fiance is kind of pining over her again. Okay, so we're in the head of this gal, and she's very insecure, as I've said. And I think the complaints that I've heard is that you hear it over and over and over. And that doesn't bother me as much, because when you do have body image issues or anxieties like that, it's like they are tormenting you, and they are in your head all the time. And so we're in her head. However, it doesn't feel that way. Even as somebody who can relate to that and be empathetic with that, I feel like it's a stretch to make this relatable. And like, if you've never experienced body image issues or any sort of anxiety or ruminating thoughts or whatever, then this may be completely annoying to you, because it's like, gosh, just get off of it. But as somebody who has experienced that, it's not necessarily annoying, but it feels inauthentic. Let me like explain myself, because I'm thinking, putting myself in her shoes. Okay, so got major imposter syndrome. It's like, if I'm this insecure about my body and everything, I don't think I'm going to be going to the Coast Guard, to the beach where I know nothing, because, I'm insecure. That's going to make me feel even worse, because I don't know what I'm doing. And so so let's put that aside. Let's say she is at a place where she's good enough to go do this, put herself out there, go to the Coast Guard, well knowing there's going to be bathing suits, all that kind of stuff. So she's like shocked when she gets on a helicopter or airplane and they weigh her to see, how much weight she's putting on the plane. Anyway, so let's put that aside. Now, we have a famous movie or musician pining after us, writing a song, doing all these things. And I'm so insecure, I'm not going to lap that up. Like, I'm not going to go back to that because he's adoring you. Like, I think that also feels inauthentic. Again, I've never been in this position exactly. I don't know what I would do, but I do know about insecurities and all of that kind of stuff. And like, putting yourself out there in the way that she doesn't feel authentic. And the fact that she's not communicating with this guy at all, like, not necessarily, I don't expect that she would go back with the musician, but like, to at least talk to him, entertain the thoughts. He's not even, have somebody fawn over you when you're feeling awful about yourself. That makes sense to me, and that's not happening here. And now let's turn to our main character, our male main character. He is this gruff guy, never been in love hater, yada, yada, yada. And apparently this is the first girl he's met that is like so dumb she's cute. I don't know. I mean, because he's like falling fast for her, and that doesn't make sense to me. And again, I don't feel like I necessarily agree with some of the other complaints I've heard about this book, but I also have my own whole set of complaints. I'm not really loving either of our characters, and I'm not really believing their romance. And so I don't know. I mean, I would definitely call this romance over women's fiction at this point. But yeah, I just wanted to get all my thoughts out, because I'm not sure how far I am. I'm at least a third of the way through. I'm listening on audio, and she's just like, she breaks the fourth wall occasionally, and she's like, I'm not that pretty girl who doesn't know she's pretty, but apparently everybody else thinks I am. And so it's like, then you are. And like, having I don't know. And she's just like, oh, what? You think people are jealous of me? Oh, tell me more, and she's just like, that kind of stuff is annoying. And, I think back to Catherine Sinner's book, the last one, about the screenwriter and all of that. Gosh, I'm having a hard time thinking about it. But that character, she was annoying in some ways, but like, she's so self-aware. She was very aware that she was annoying, and very like unapologetically her. And like, she like was vulnerable and naive to the point of like annoyance to some people, but to me it was like, gosh, that's kind of admirable. And this gal is like naive to the point of like, this feels manipulative. This feels like you're not actually naive, you're just like compliment hunting, which again fits with the insecurity, but like, be self-aware. We are getting her innermost thoughts. So to be like, I truthfully had no idea, blah 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 blah, well, no, I mean, I would love to hear the inner monologue of like, I knew this, but I needed to hear it. I don't know. So that's where I'm at with that. Today is our only full day of school this week, because yesterday was Labor Day. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow, 2 of my kids have their well child checks, and they're both scheduled for shots. And then we all have gymnastics, and then tennis because of makeups and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a chaotic day. And then Thursday, and tomorrow also, they're coming to redo my closet after moldpocalypse, last spring. We had mold, had to tear down to the studs. Now they're coming to rebuild. So Thursday, my parents are coming up to help me put everything back together and or watch the kids while, some combination. And then Friday, my dad's having an angioplasty up here to go dig into some heart issues. And so it's going to be a big week. So today we're going to knock out some school, do some things. It's beautiful outside, like 65, sunny, beautiful. or not sun, well, kind of sunny. I don't know. You don't care about the weather. So I will check in when I have more to say about the love haters. Hey everyone, so y'all, it is brisk, and I might have just gotten a raindrop on my head, but I just snuck outside because my mom is here, and it's just chaos in my house. It is chaos lately. And so it's Friday though, so that's great. But a couple days ago, I finished The Love Haters, and I actually like this better as the book went on. And so I am going to give it probably 3.5 stars. So this book, I like, same complaints I had stand. There is like a near-death experience for our main character in the end. And that was my favorite part of the whole book, because she's just with a dog and it's a near-death experience. She goes on this big like monologue about loving yourself and loving your body, and I really liked that. Now, the romance was not the strongest. I would agree with everybody saying that. This is definitely more of her learning to accept herself, and she's like, yeah, this didn't happen because of a man. It kind of did. So that's kind of annoying. But I wanted to keep listening to this, sort of. I wasn't like itching to pick it up all the time, but I enjoyed myself while I was reading it. And it's definitely not my favorite Catherine Center by far. Just because I think this character was really lacking self-awareness, and I don't know. It was okay. But I can definitely see like the romance was very weak, and she didn't have the charm that a lot of Catherine Center characters do. So 3.5 stars. Don't start here if you haven't read Catherine Center, but if you love her, this one's all right. So that is that. I'm gonna read some other stuff, and then I'll be back with another. Hey everyone, so don't pay attention to our disaster of a garage back there, but I am just getting on to update that I have started Great Big Beautiful Life here by Emily Henry, and I am not, this lighting is making me look very orange, but I am not the biggest fan of Emily Henry. I loved People We Meet on Vacation, and everything else has been fine. Not earth-changing, but not awful, like all kind of 3.5 star reads. And so going into this, I had lowered expectations because people have said it's not their favorite for the most part. I've heard some good things, but I've also heard it's not people's favorite. And I have to say, I'm not liking it. This is a book about two people who are wanting to tell the story of an elusive woman and their romance, basically. And the guy is grumpy, he's quiet, he's all the things. And I just don't find that attractive. I don't understand the chemistry between the two of them. I don't particularly care about either of them. I don't care about the gal they're writing about. I just don't really care. Like, I'm interested enough while I'm reading it, but if I set it down, I don't really care. And first steamy scene happened 25% of the way through, and I'm not into that. And so, not loving it. I'm going to keep on keeping on, but this one, I don't think is worth the hype, and I agree with the crowds. So far, so not great. So we're outside doing some school right now. My allergies are attacking, so I'm like sniveling nonstop, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully this one will get better. Hey everyone, so I have finished this book and I didn't like it. I'm giving it a 2.5 stars. So this, if I wasn't reading it like specifically for this project, I definitely would have DNF'd it, especially because I don't own a copy. But this is the worst Emily Henry I've ever read. And I'm not one that loves absolutely everything she writes. I love People We Meet on Vacation. The rest have been decent for me. I think I've already said this, but this one was so boring for most of it. And I felt no chemistry between the main couple. So this is about, let's see, Alice and Hayden, and they are both trying to write the life story of this woman. She was married to like an Elvis-esque guy, and she was a socialite. Now she's in her 80s, and they're both interviewing her. They both get like 3 days a week to talk to her, try to get her story, and then she's going to decide who gets to write it. Okay. And meanwhile, they're not like working together, but they're spending time together, and their relationship turns physical like 25% of the way through. And so there's more steam than I like, but also I never felt the chemistry at all. And so that was weird. And I was never rooting for them as a couple. The twist in the end is something you could see coming from a mile away. And this is definitely Evelyn Hugo-esque, but like way worse. I didn't care about either Alice or Hayden or really Margaret. And in the beginning of the story, It's very, 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 very slow. The very end, while it was predictable, it was fast paced. It was interesting. It had me like reading until the end. Otherwise, this would have been like a 2-star. But yeah, I did not like the romance. The pacing was way off. I didn't care for the characters. I think this is kind of a hot take. I don't know that people like dislike it, but I guarantee I will not remember this soon because it was so lackluster and boring and unexciting and like dull characters and not real and like I don't know. I just didn't dig it. So that's that. Now I've got the Abby Jimenez, and I do love Abby Jimenez, and so my fingers are crossed really tight that I like it better. Hey everyone, so it's later. I don't know how many days later, but for you it's been just a minute, and I am halfway through Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and you guys, I am loving this book. I don't get why people aren't liking it. So this is following Sam and Xavier, and they met because he is a vet, and if you can hear, it's trash day, and I think the trash guy's coming down the street. You'll see in just a second. Yep, there he is. So there's that. Hopefully you can't hear it, but so he's a vet, and he's kind of a grumpy guy and just very stoic, steady, all that kind of stuff. And she comes in, she has a kitten that has a physical deformity that he says, you know, I think this isn't going to end well. You should probably put her down. And she's like, nope, we're saving her. And so they have this kind of instantly bantery relationship, and they are just getting to know each other. And as with all Abby Jimenez books, they each have a hard backstory. So her mom is struggling with early onset dementia, Alzheimer's. And he is from an abusive home. And so he has a lot of baggage. She has a lot of baggage, but they just complement each other so well. And it's just so good. It's such a good balance of like the heavy, but also the fun and silly. I was literally just laughing out loud at something that happened. And I mean, it has to do with a dead mouse. If you guys have been here for a while, we had an issue where we were parking our van in our driveway or at the street because my husband was using our garage as like a shop, and mice made a home in there, and my daughter found a dead mouse, and we were at the library, and this is my 7-year-old daughter who I had to she would not get out of the fetal position, wouldn't move. It was the funniest thing I've been through in a long time. And they just had a dead mouse scene that was really funny. But anyway, I am loving them as a couple. I'm loving both of their backstories. This is interesting because he is a grumpy, kind of stoic guy, but it makes sense. And he's not rude. He's like a very sweet, spends his time volunteering, just a cinnamon roll who is guarded. I would say he's guarded more than he's grumpy. So there is my update on that. Today we're going to do school and then go to the playground with some friends, and then my 5-year-old has soccer, and so I don't know that I'm going to get this done today, but maybe tonight. We'll see. I'm listening on Libro FM, and I love their audiobook player. It's always linked down below if you guys want to get Libro, but I am just loving it. I'm having a great experience, which is a surprise given that I was not loving the other two at halfway. So this one seems like a win. Let's hope the second half is as good as the first. Hey everyone, so I have finished Say You'll Remember Me, and I loved it. It is a strong 4 stars for me. So this book, what do I say? So I'm filming these clips so far apart that I can't remember what I said the first time. However, this book is just so good. Okay, so both people, Xavier and Sam, both have really heavy things going on in their life. And so the way Abby Jimenez does this, it's like some sort of sorcery, some sort of magic that she can make me want to cry and also laugh in the same book, and often in the same chapter. I don't know how she does it, but the way these two showed up for each other was so awesome. So he's in Minnesota. He's got a new clinic. He is a vet. He opened his own clinic. If you guys know anything about starting a business, which I'm sure you all do, you're in the red for a long time before you get before you get in the black. I was like, wait, did I switch the colors up? But you are not making a profit for a very long time. So he's kind of financially strapped in Minnesota running this clinic. She is in California taking care of her mom, and there's that whole like we shouldn't be together but we really want to be, there's nobody else, all that kind of thing. And I just loved it. I love the way they showed up for each other, and I love the way that like she does so good at that. She Abby Jimenez does so good at writing unconditional love, and like it sets the bar way up here, guys. So if you are single reading these books, read these books before you commit to somebody, because she sets the bar up high and it is great. And so yeah, I don't want to say a lot because I don't want to like ruin the feelings that come with this book, but they showed up for each other in a way that was awesome. And there's like caretaking scenes, there's all sorts of stuff that just really draw me in. And he's not grumpy. I think I was talking about this in the last clip. He's not grumpy. He's reserved, and I could totally relate to his reservations. And his parents were emotionally abusive and neglectful, and I could empathize, like you just understand. And I just wanted, like, I wanted him better for him. And like he's such this big dude that is like so strong and smart and all the things, and yet he so easily retreats back to that like broken child. And I just love the way she did that. I love the way she did that. The conversation around dementia is really hard. But this was just so good. So good. So let's wrap it up. So let me get the love haters. 1 second. Okay, so I was not able to get a copy of The Great Big Beautiful... No? Say You'll Remember Me. There we go. I wasn't able to get a copy. But out of the 3 I read, so really strongly disliked this one and would not recommend. And I can see why people are critical of it. I am actually finding myself thinking more about this book now that I'm done with it. I don't know. I didn't love the first half for sure, but the second half, like Catherine Center has a way of making these like quirky, lovable characters that just kind of stick with you. And she wrote somewhere, I don't know if I talked about this, she wrote in the author's note that like each of her books is kind of trying to heal a certain part of herself. And so knowing that about this book and knowing that it was like therapeutic for her kind of endears me even more to it. So I think this one, pass, or this is a very neutral book that if you're interested, read it. If you're not, don't. And then Say You'll Remember Me, I think everybody should pick it up. I don't get why people aren't loving it. I mean, it's not my favorite Abby Jimenez, probably. Gosh, I don't know. It's right up there. It's one of the best. They're all great. They're all great. And so I kind of have all over the board. One I would not recommend, one I think if you're interested, pick it up, and one that I definitely would. So let me know. What do you guys think? And now, again, the hype on these books, I'm hearing some great, some not great. Most of what I hear is not great about these books, but I listen to a small section of booktube, and, so maybe I'm missing the positive reviews. But let me know if you've read these books, what you think about them, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.